another edition of the award-winning podcast, The Square and the Round. I am Chris Kelly. I am square. He is BB Shea. He is perfectly round.
Yes.
A round, perfectly shaped head, and we are just sitting here talking about, and this is sports related. Mm-hmm. And you called Michigan winning, didn't you?
I did, yes.
I thought you did.
You know what's funny is that I told people, I called it. They're like, well, it really wasn't that impressive. But if Washington would have won, they'd have been saying you're an idiot for not taking Washington.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't win.
You can't win.
You can't win.
Doesn't matter how you call it, you can't win.
Do you think Jim Harbaugh will go to the NFL, and if so, where?
I don't think he should.
Oh, I don't either.
I think he should stay. Since he's the man now, I think he should stay in Michigan.
I think now that Nick Saban has just retired, that Jim Harbaugh would probably be the most respected coach in college football other than maybe Kirby Smart
maybe
at Georgia. And when looking at it, back to the college football playoff for a minute, I've now heard the argument, and I think it's true, that the real four teams that should have been there were Michigan, Washington, Georgia, and Alabama.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Knock Texas out.
No,
of it.
I know that whole SEC championship loss just screwed Georgia over.
Honestly, if Michigan played Georgia, that is a toss-up.
That would have been a toss-up. That would have been a great game.
Yeah, then they probably should have played in the championship.
You're right.
And Michigan, they had a little struggle with Washington, but they owned that game pretty much from the beginning. It was close in the third quarter. You know, it got surprisingly. I thought Harbaugh made a big mistake in the first half. He went for it on a fourth down at about the 50-yard line and gave Washington a chance to get back in the game. But I think he should stay at Michigan. I hope he does stay at Michigan. However, I think he's going to go to the Chargers.
Did you lose to hear about the bet that he lost?
No.
He lost a bet to his players. He said if they went 15-0 and won the championship, that he would get a Michigan tattoo.
Really?
So now he has to get a Michigan tattoo. So he'll forever be branded with the Michigan M.
Yeah.
So might as well just stay.
It just feels like to me, it's his alma mater, quarterback there. He's the guy in Ann Arbor now. There's that taint of that possible scandal. There are probably going to be some sort of NCAA restrictions coming. I think they'll stand by him for that. It's a year maybe. Yeah. And then I think the rest of his life, I would be a lifer, like a Saban or Bo Schembechler, or just go do it.
Absolutely.
Go and do it.
I think that would be the thing. You know, in a time where the coaching tree is basically just a carousel now.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about Saban and Belichick gone now, which is wild.
Yeah.
I think if he stayed, that would add a little bit of a history.
You need
to
college. College coaching. To me, college has become now about as exciting as the NFL.
It is.
It's different, but there's nothing like that playoff, that championship game, and now going to a 12-team playoff. Yeah. That's going to be great.
It will.
You know what I heard? The reason he will go, and I do think he'll go to the NFL, even though he shouldn't. I think he wants to win. He'll be one of the few coaches. He would be the fourth to win the national championship and the Super Bowl.
That would be exciting.
And I think he'll go to the Chargers because they already have a good quarterback in place.
Yeah.
Well, at least I think he's good.
They've got a lot more troubles, though. I don't think the Chargers would be the right place.
Where would you go? What job is the most attractive? There's 7 NFL job opens at the time of this recording. Seattle, Tennessee. Pete Carroll was a surprise, too.
Yeah, he was the other one, yeah.
Seattle, Tennessee, New England, Carolina, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and the Chargers.
I guess Las Vegas.
He's got Harbaugh has a good relationship with the owners there. The players want their interim head coach to be
That's
the head
true.
coach.
I know they really want him, which I think they should listen to them.
I do too.
They should take that guy.
I agree.
The Carolina Panthers head coaching job sounds like a bad deal, but if you really think about it, it's probably the best opportunity because they're going to sign you to a long-term deal, and if you don't win 5 games, they're going to fire you, and they're still going to pay you.
You get a bunch of
money. So, I mean, if you think about it, that's really the best job out there.
I mean, I agree with that, but let's say you're the offensive coordinator in Detroit, which is a hot name. Ben Johnson's his name, and Carolina wants him.
Yeah.
Let's say they hire him. Let's say he takes that job, even though it's not attractive, as you said. The ownership is apparently bad, and he gets some money. Let's say they pay him pretty well. But he wins 3 games and they fire him. Well, there's one shot that you've had now. Now you might get a second.
True,
but that's about it. You only get 2 shots.
But you don't just fire Jim Harbaugh after a bad season.
No.
He's one of those guys that you kind of have to stick around and let things play out.
Harbaugh would be there forever, but he's not going to the Panthers.
No.
He's going to. I think the Chargers. I think the Commanders is possible. They've got new owners and a high draft pick. I don't think he'd go to the Patriots.
Who did he play for in the NFL?
He played for the Bears, which I think would be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
But they're not firing their coach.
No.
The Bears, if I were the Bears, I'd fire the coach. I'd probably now, last week I think I said I would keep Justin Fields. I think I would trade Justin Fields, take the quarterback out of USC, get another first-round or second-round pick for Justin Fields. You got a bunch of draft picks. You've got a quarterback on a rookie contract that's supposed to be great, and I would bring in Harbaugh to develop that quarterback.
That would be a major sea change in Chicago.
He has a relationship, Harbaugh does, with the Bears and could go there, I think, because I don't know that he gets along that well with the current ownership, but, I think you can not get along great and still do the job.
I think so, too.
He played for the Bears. Yeah. He played briefly for the Chargers, but nobody really remembers that, and the Colts.
Okay.
He was a Colt for a time. If I was him, I'd stay put.
I think the only reason why he would leave or why he should leave would be anything that's resulting from the scandal. Because I feel like he might start off the year suspended.
He might.
And if that's the case, then why not go to the pros if you really want to coach?
But aren't you looking – if you're suspended 4 more games, that's 4 cupcake opponents.
True.
Probably. I don't know. And then from then on, you write your own ticket. 10-year contract for an unheard of amount of money. You say you love it. It's your alma mater. I would stay.
And really, with Saban leaving, I really think that the college football landscape needs that new guy.
Yeah.
And he could be that guy.
He could be it. Now, and they're high. Alabama, from what I hear, there's going to be no shortage of people interested in that job.
Of course not.
Even Dabo Swinney.
What a legacy job that would be.
Oh, my God. It's tough to follow the man, though.
Right.
There's the guy who's the greatest of all time. It's hard to follow that.
Dabo Swinney, I think he's starting to get exposed as a head coach recently. I don't think he's as good as people
But he
thought.
built that at Clemson.
He did. He really did. But once he got not the guy at quarterback, he really kind of fell to shambles, if you think about it.
You think Trevor Lawrence is a really good quarterback? Because so far he hadn't won that much. I'm starting to doubt him.
Jury's still out on Trevor Lawrence.
I agree.
I'm not ready to write him off completely. I give him another 2 years, and if things don't happen, then he may not be as good as we thought.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
And who will replace Belichick in New England? Wow.
That's big shoes to fill as well.
And
I don't know.
Belichick coach
Who
again?
knows?
You think Belichick coaches
Probably
again?
so.
I think so.
McDaniels maybe, or
he's had his chances.
Patricia, I don't know.
He's awful.
If they're willing to bring him back, his son maybe.
Maybe. I think Mike Vrabel will probably go to New England.
Yes,
that's
the right answer.
I don't think that's an attractive job.
No, I don't think so either.
No quarterback.
It could be.
No quarterback.
But, they've been under the tutelage of Belichick for so long that anybody in there really can do whatever they want.
I think Belichick has messed it up because he was the GM and he's picked a bunch of bad players.
Yeah,
they're
I think
terrible.
so too.
They're terrible.
He won with not great players.
Well, he always had Tom Brady when he won.
Apart from Tom Brady, but who was really his great receiver, his great real defensive player?
When they were undefeated that year, they had Randy Moss.
Of course.
But Brady, that's why, to me, here a few years removed from Brady leaving the Patriots, it makes Brady look even better.
It does.
I used to argue that it was because of Belichick that they were so great and that Brady wasn't even, he was the best player on the team, but that because of Gronkowski and the system.
It was the system.
As soon as he left, they start going downhill. Now they're at rock bottom. What does Brady do? Wins the Super Bowl.
And I think it's hard to find people who can respond to Belichick's standoffishness and his ruggedness.
He's tough to work with. I just saw the stats. In the years without Brady, I want to say 18 games under 500. He's won one playoff game. He won a playoff game with Cleveland 29 years ago. Other than that, nothing. And I think if Brady doesn't replace Drew Bledsoe, who got hurt in that game the first year they won it, I think Belichick would have been run out of town the next year.
Yeah.
And it would never I'm ready to say now he's not the best coach of all time. And I never thought I would say that.
Yeah, that's fair to say. I think he's
that.
up there for what he did, but definitely not the greatest.
And Brady has even more shine on him.
If he would have left when Brady left, he would have been that guy.
But his ego got in the way because he wants, he proved that he can win without Brady, which he didn't. At least he hasn't yet. And B, he wants the record of most wins of all time, which I think he's a handful of wins short, 20 wins short, which will take him at this rate 4 years.
Well, what if he goes to another team and makes a winner out of them?
I'll reevaluate.
But we have to see that, of course.
And I think, the Chargers maybe, because, they do have a good quarterback in Justin Herbert, maybe. But anywhere else he goes, he's starting from scratch. If he goes to the Commanders, they have a high pick, but they don't have a quarterback.
True.
Not right now.
It would be fun if him and Saban went and coached somewhere together.
Oh, my God.
Like went to the Browns, but they're not getting rid of Stefanski.
No, Stefanski's really good.
Would you get rid of Stefanski to have Saban and Belichick?
I would keep Stefanski if I were the Browns.
But if Belichick and Saban came together and they were like, we want this job.
No, I don't think that works. I don't think they can coach together.
Yeah.
I would take Stefanski's a good coach in Cleveland.
Yeah.
He's very good. The jobs that are available, Atlanta doesn't have a quarterback. Las Vegas doesn't have a quarterback. The Panthers certainly not, or at least no good team.
Yeah.
New England doesn't. Tennessee really doesn't. Seattle doesn't. None of these teams have good, except for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Jury's out on him.
Jury's still out on Herbert too, which is wild.
I agree. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's what a weird time in sports. We had to spend some time on sports here today. We had to.
Yeah, we did. All within a day. This all happened within a 24-hour period.
Incredible.
Three champion-winning head coaches done.
Pete Carroll.
Yes.
Bill Belichick. Nick Saban.
Yeah. All done.
Okay, let's do this. How about the Mount Rushmore? This will be hard for you to do. Of coaches all time, all sports.
Okay. No, that's fair.
The greatest 4 coaches of all time.
Even college.
Yes.
All sports.
For instance, I would start with probably Nick Saban and Coach K.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, actually you're going to have to go.
I think you got to split that up. I think you got to split up pros and college.
Okay.
How do you not put Gino Auriemma up there? How do you not put Pat Summitt up there? How do you not
do women's sports?
How do you not put John Wooden up there?
You're putting women's sports.
Why not? Yeah.
You putting John Wooden.
Okay, well, just guys sports then.
All right, you're doing John Wooden though.
Yeah.
So, but what about Phil Jackson?
Phil Jackson, yeah.
I don't know. He always had so much talent. So did John Wooden, of course.
True, of course.
Coach K, man, he came in. I remember when Coach K was hired. I was 10.
Yeah.
He was still there when I was 50. He was unbelievable run, and he started with nothing.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him on TV on Channel 8 here, the local. That's all we had. We didn't have cable. Here he comes on. I was a Tar Heel fan. My dad and I are watching the late news, and I see him on there. They can't pronounce his name, and I was like, "Who is it?" Even at 10, I was like, "This guy's going to run out of town. He's going to be." I was 9. I was 9 years old. He was still coaching.
Who's this guy whose name we can't pronounce?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little nothing-looking guy. He made $40,000 a year. That's what he made at first at Duke, and he became the greatest coach of all time. Within about 4 or 5 years, it was like, he's pretty good. The first couple of years, no good. You know my story about him, Coach K. They lost his first season. I remember this game. He was coaching Duke. They lost to Virginia in the ACC tournament. They were one of the lower seeds. I think they were bottom, and Virginia was 1 or 2. And Virginia beat them in that late night game in Atlanta. It's like that 10 o'clock game in Atlanta in the ACC tournament. And Virginia beat them, I want to say it was like 101-60, 40-something points.
Yeah.
And after the game, the Duke team, is raining, it was awful, and they were like, let's get out of here. The coaches, they all stopped at Waffle House. The players, I think, were back at the hotel. The coaches were at Waffle House. And at the end of the meal, one of the coaches said, he raised his glass and said, here's to never, ever remembering this game ever again. And Coach K said, put your glass down. And he said, here's to never, ever forgetting this game ever again. Ooh. And they beat Virginia 18 times in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, that's great coaching. Yeah. Saban and K, I mean, who's the better coach? I can't even say.
Got more champions. Yeah, I don't know. But see, here's the thing, though. You say that about Phil Jackson about too much talent. I don't think that should be a knock.
You don't.
Because
he managed it well.
But think about the amount of people who have had
great
that
talent.
amount of talent but not been able to do anything with it. He did it twice.
You're right. Yeah, but
over several times.
I used to say about that, but I think I'm coming around to what you're saying.
Yeah.
I used to say, well, I could have coached the Bulls to 50 wins.
Yeah.
And he got 65.
Exactly.
I feel like I literally could have coached them. But you got the egos you have to manage.
True.
Difficult.
But you've got to take people and let them know this is your role. If you want to be a champion, this is what you have to do.
Yes.
Because there could have easily been Scottie Pippen could have been the number one guy on a whole other team.
Yes.
But he decided to say, hey, you're going to be Robin, but you're going to be a champion.
I think he might regret that.
Pippen? I don't know about that.
Well, he had
the fact that he ended up in so many top whatever list at the end of his career.
But you know the story on him? You saw the Jordan documentary.
Yeah.
The story on him was the next year when Jordan wasn't there, they needed to win a game. They're down by 1 in the playoffs, and they go to Tony Kukoc, and he wouldn't come off the bench.
Yeah,
they drew up a play for Kukoc, and he was such a non-team player. He literally sat on the bench instead of going into that. That's a bad look.
I mean, I really think that him being on the Bulls solidified his greatness.
Oh, I do too.
If he would have been on another team with that attitude, I don't think he would have reached the heights that he did.
And in fact, if he had played, if he played for the Washington Wizards all those years or whoever, the Atlanta Hawks, I think he's known as a good player.
Yeah, of course.
Not a top 50. It was absolutely because
not even close.
His tandem with Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good conversation. I like that. I love talking sports.
I know we started doing our Squaring the Round weekly top 5, and I didn't even think about all these coaches changes. We could have done a top 5 coaches list of all time, but we went in a different direction.
We did in a different direction, and you're going to be very surprised at this.
Yeah.
I really thought about this. Earlier in the week, you said, let's do the top 5 living American actors. It was out online somewhere.
Yeah.
And you said you were ready to do it. the top 5 living American actors, and you have to have your favorite movie along with it. So do you have your
our top 5 living American actors, not who we think is the best, but like who? Well, I'm sorry. Who, like, the critics would think is the best, our top 5.
Right.
Yes,
because I wrote down a lot of who the critics think, and then I look at it, I'm like, that's probably not what I would say.
Yeah, because, I would assume a lot of people would say, they might be on your list, so I won't say.
No, do it. Do it. Say,
Like, who the critics think would be Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Al Pacino.
Yes.
Robert De Niro.
Yes.
DiCaprio.
Yes.
Getting there.
Yeah, right.
Old heads. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I put some old heads on
Of course, and I think that's fun. You
look
can't
at their resume.
deny talent.
Look at their resume.
Of
You're
course.
putting young heads.
I did not necessarily put a lot of young heads.
Well, who are your 5?
Okay.
Well, let's start with number 5.
Number 5 is Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, he's great.
I think when it comes to iconic,
he's great.
I don't think it gets more iconic than Samuel L. Jackson.
I believe that he is, I want to say Samuel L. Jackson is the biggest box office grossing actor of all time.
You're probably right.
Because he's been in some Star Wars movies that made a ton of money. Marvel? You in some Marvel?
Yes. Yeah.
Marvel movies. And, of course, just a ton of, he's been in a ton of movies. A ton of movies.
And all of those movies aside, my favorite Samuel Jackson is Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
think it gets more iconic for Sam L than that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Great performance.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Should have won an Oscar.
That's very, very good. I like that. Yeah. At my number 5, I put DiCaprio.
That's fair.
And I think he's great. I think he's an incredible actor. My favorite movie he's in is a little thing called Titanic.
That put him on the map, though.
Put him.
It turned him into the actor that he is today.
And I am aware like The Revenant. I love.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
I love that movie. Yes.
I did too. I thought it was great. And but it doesn't get much better than Titanic.
He should have won an Oscar for Wolf of Wall Street, I think.
Great movie.
I think that was his best role.
God, it was. It was incredible. The one you love so much that we talked about last week.
Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
He's incredible.
Wonderful.
He's a great actor. He really is. He's a young head to me because he's only in his 50s.
Of course, yeah.
Or late 40s. Plus, the tail he pulls, good Lord. He doesn't date anybody over 25.
No, he doesn't, but he doesn't have to.
I saw an interview with the guy, Billy Zane, who was in Titanic with him. And at that time...
He deserves a shout-out right now.
He's pretty good.
He's
a good actor. He was really good in that. At that time, Tobey Maguire and one other actor and Leonardo DiCaprio, they were called, I have to say a bad word here, they were called the Pussy Patrol. And Billy Zane was asked, had you hang out with the Pussy Patrol? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? And they're like, yeah, Maguire. And apparently Maguire and DiCaprio did hang out a lot together.
Yeah, no, they've been friends since they were kids.
And they were just pulling it left and right.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking like DiCaprio.
I mean, dude, for real.
My God, good Lord. Okay, so who's next?
Edward Norton.
I would.
Do we have a crossover on that one?
No,
okay.
I didn't put him on it.
Okay.
But he's got an honorable mention. He's a phenomenal actor.
Edward Norton may be the most underrated actor of all time, I think.
Yes.
My favorite role of his was in Fight Club.
Me too.
But that's just because that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
He's great.
But I really think anything that he's in.
I don't like Rounders.
Really?
I don't like Rounders.
I think more people need to watch Rounders.
I heard you talking about that one time. I saw it in the theater and was underwhelmed, and I've never seen it since.
It's kind of hard to pull off a poker movie. I think it was a well-done poker movie.
Is it
Malkovich?
Malkovich.
John Malkovich plays the Russian? Yeah.
Yeah. I never could get into him. Now, Norton, I think, is a phenomenal actor.
But you got like that, Primal Fear, American History X. Have you seen American History X?
No. Is that good?
That would make you pucker.
Yeah, you know how
that one's a little intense.
You know how I am.
Have you heard about the curb stomping scene?
I've heard about that.
Okay, yeah.
I can't watch that.
It's a great movie, but it's intense.
I can't watch that. I couldn't even watch, what was that? American History X. I couldn't even watch that one with Christian Bale where he was like playing the Phil Collins songs and killing
American
people.
Psycho?
I didn't like that. Yeah. I didn't like that movie. Do you like it?
It's a little overrated.
I couldn't get that movie into that. At number 4, I put Mr. Hanks. Come
Fair.
on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
He's done it all. He's the Jimmy Stewart. He's the everyman.
Yeah.
My favorite movie of his is Captain Phillips, which I know will shock you.
Ooh, did not see that coming.
I've only seen it once.
I really did not see that coming. Was it that good for you?
I loved it. Did you like it? Did you see it?
I never saw Captain Phillips. Never saw the need to see it.
It's probably not his best performance. I loved it. I
really
loved it. Yeah. But there are so many movies I love with him. I love Apollo 13. I love Castaway. Of course, Forrest Gump. Splash.
Yeah.
God almighty, Splash is a great movie. You ever seen that?
Splash. I never heard
You
of
don't know
Splash.
what that is.
Never heard of Splash.
Splash is Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah, 1982. This is before he was big. You should watch that. It's
Okay.
great. She's a mermaid.
Okay. Sounds great.
John Candy's in it. She's a
Love
mermaid.
John Candy. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Love John Candy.
It's funny and sweet and a love story all at the same time. Oh, Eugene Levy is hilarious.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's great in it. It's a
Let
great
me
movie.
tell you why Tom Hanks, I think he's great, but
Yeah.
he's ruined for me because of Toy Story.
Yeah.
My first introduction was of him in Toy Story, just his voice.
Yeah.
So whenever I see him in Castaway doing a major role where he's
Yeah.
screaming dramatically,
Yeah.
I can't take him seriously.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's hard for me to take him serious. He
He's
sounds
great.
he sounds like Woody.
like the toy.
It-
yeah,
it's
that's
always
the first
Woody to
thing.
me.
Well, he's great in that. He does great
Yeah,
voiceover
no, it was
work.
wonderful. But
Of course, that's just voiceover stuff. But I'm telling you, Captain Phillips, I love.
I'll have to watch it.
No one mentions it.
Yeah.
I love Captain Phillips.
Isn't it bad that the crappy Somalian pirate won an Oscar for that and he didn't?
Yes, that's not right. He's Philadelphia. He won an Oscar for. I think
Yeah.
that's overrated.
Okay.
Forrest
Never
Gump,
saw
I love, but it's a little bit gimmicky.
It is.
There's one, Big. You ever see Big?
Big's great.
Great
yeah.
movie. He can do everything. He's great. I think what's that real quiet movie he did just a few years ago, like Bridge of Spies.
Bridge of
Great.
Spies. Heard of
Great
that.
in
Never
that.
saw it.
He plays Sully Sullenberger, which I
Yes.
didn't like. I didn't like that movie. It's not that good.
I don't know what my favorite Tom Hanks would be. Castaway, maybe.
Castaway
was solid.
Castaway is awesome.
Yeah.
Who's your number 3?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal. He's great. He's
Jake
a great
Gyllenhaal
actor.
over the past 10 years has put together an amazing catalog.
Dang.
A lot of indie movies and sort of blockbuster. He is a dude who's got range, and I don't think it's enough credit for his
Ooh.
range.
You ever see Nightcrawler?
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Should have won an Oscar for
Phenomenal.
that. Nightcrawler's so great.
Were you man enough to go to the theater to see the movie where he plays the gay guy? The sheep movie. What's it called? You know what it's called. Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, I never saw it. Never saw Brokeback Mountain.
Embrace your
really
manhood.
I really wasn't online when that movie came out.
Do you mean alive? What do you mean online?
I really wasn't paying attention to stuff when that movie came out.
I manned up and
Yeah.
saw it. Okay.
Yeah.
I took my wife. I think we were married. We were. And we go to the theater. There are hundreds of gay couples in there.
Yeah.
It's packed. The movie starts. She has no idea what we're watching. We're 10 minutes in. They're laying on a mountain with sheep. They're making eyes at each other. I turn to her and I say, "You understand they're gay."
This is get ready
She
to
turned to me and
change.
she said, "What?" Yes. They are homosexual
Yeah.
ranchers on a mountain watching sheep. And there are a couple of scenes in there, and I think it was, Gyllenhaal had to, he was in the tent with Heath Ledger, and boy, the first sex scene is like a little rough. You know, you're like, oh my goodness, you know.
What I wouldn't give to see them act together again. Heath Ledger.
Oh,
man.
Heath Ledger was
Golly.
great. He was
Shout
great.
out to him. Favorite Gyllenhaal movie is a movie called Prisoners.
I haven't seen it.
I would highly recommend
Really?
it. Yes, it's absolutely fun. Him, Hugh Jackman,
Okay.
Terrence Howard. Great cast.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would see that. My favorite is Nightcrawler, I would say, is my favorite.
Gyllenhaal. Yeah,
Gyllenhaal
no,
movie.
it's very.
He's
If you
excellent.
haven't seen Nightcrawler, go check
You
it
ever
out.
see
It's
City
great.
Slickers?
Never saw that.
He's in that. He's a kid.
Oh, really?
He's a
Okay.
little boy, but you don't know it.
No,
I mean,
okay,
he's,
yeah.
He's in like
before
one
he got
line.
famous.
Now, I put Jack Nicholson, and I know I'm an old head, but I put him in there. I like him.
Can't deny it. Can't
Great.
deny Jack Nicholson.
He's great. But when I start thinking about movies, I love that I think A Few Good Men is overrated.
Okay,
And I think, I guess probably One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You ever see it?
I did. It's been
Great.
a long time.
He's great in it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's been a long time since I've seen it, too. I love Terms of Endearment, but everybody says it's not that great.
Never saw. My favorite Nicholson is Anger Management.
I've not seen
That
that.
or The Bucket List.
Oh, The Bucket List. That's my
What a great little
phenomenal
fun movie to
I should
watch.
put Morgan Freeman on this.
True. He's not a bad
great.
pick either.
Morgan Freeman is incredible. He's in, of course, Shawshank.
Yeah.
You know how much I love Shawshank.
He's about as iconic as Sam L. You know,
I
mean,
agree.
The voice,
He's incredible.
everything. Yeah.
Who's number 2?
Number 2 for me is Robert Downey Jr.
I think he's overrated.
I don't think he gets enough. I don't think he does enough great work. That's my problem with him.
Well, I've never seen I don't see Iron
Yeah,
Man.
I think he got typecast as Iron Man, which was a great casting decision. But past that, his work in Oppenheimer was great, and I only think he's going to start doing better roles from
Well,
here.
what's the best movie he's in other than I don't ever see anything with him in it. I didn't see Iron Man. The last thing what did I see? Less Than Zero.
Yeah. Okay.
He's all right. I mean, he's good. in that.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang
Didn't
was
see
great.
it. I don't see any of his movies.
Zodiac. Have you ever seen
Oh
Zodiac?
my God, yes. Oh my God, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Another Jake Gyllenhaal. Yes.
That's probably my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal movie. That's one of my favorite movies. I
Zodiac
love it.
is fantastic.
I love it.
Yes.
That's a great. The cast is so good. It's scary as it can be.
Yeah.
Zodiac is fantastic. That's a movie. My daughter, who's 15, loves seeing horror movies, and a lot of times we'll watch them during Halloween. And I suggested that, and my wife wouldn't let me show it.
Really?
To her. Yeah, because
it's not even really like bloody or anything.
No, but it's so real to me.
Yeah,
it's not even
you.
horror, but it's so real. There's a scene by a lake in broad daylight. Where the couple gets knifed, and I'm just like, holy cow!
Yeah.
Well, Robert Downey is good, but he's not in it that much. I mean, it's an ensemble.
Yeah, but I think
he's
that's
great.
What, have you ever seen Due Date?
No.
With him and Zach Galifianakis, it's a comedy.
Yeah,
great movie.
I like him.
Hilarious.
I like him, but I've never seen movies that I think are great with him in it, except Zodiac.
Yeah.
But I didn't see Iron Man. I don't see those Marvel movies.
I got you.
I just don't. I don't watch them. I mean, he was in Weird Science.
Weird Science, great movie. I love Weird Science.
Awful movie. Awful.
What?
Awful. Hated every second of that. I was 15, 14 years old. Went to the mall. My friend Brian Thomas is like, we have to see Weird Science. He'd already seen it, said how great it was. I was sitting there going, I don't like it. It's not funny to me. And meanwhile, his mother took his little brother to see Back to the Future, which I didn't see until video, and it turned out to be phenomenal.
Of course.
I messed that up.
Okay.
All
Who's your
right.
number two?
My number two, what did I put? Oh, De Niro. I put De Niro on there as number two because he's, I'm an old head. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But Taxi Driver is great. He's in a lot. Godfather 2, he's great. You don't like Taxi Driver?
No, I love Taxi
It's
Driver.
phenomenal.
I think they need to redo that movie with an Uber driver. And I think that would be a fantastic redo.
And he's in like Meet the Parents. He's great in.
Yes.
He's
even his comedy roles are
he's
great.
turned to comedy now and has become really, really good. I mean, Heat I like. There's a lot of movies.
He's great. Oh, Lord.
I mean, I didn't love the one we talked about recently, Silver Linings Playbook, but he's good. He's just good. He's
I just don't know why he's got to do so many long movies. Like all of his dramatic roles are like at least 2.5 hours. Heat's 3 hours. Killers of the Flower Moon's 3 hours. Goodfellas is 3 hours. Casino's 3 hours.
Goodfellas, yeah. Goodfellas.
What we just said. Anyway, they're all so long. Taxi Driver's 3 hours.
But you are not going to put, unless you put him at number one, you're not going to put De Niro on the list?
No.
Not De Niro.
No. Not the ones that I personally love. No, he would not be on my list.
Well, who is you're going to be surprised at mine too. Now, he's old, but I love him. I love him.
Okay.
Go ahead with your...
Joaquin Phoenix is my number one actor of all time.
Joaquin Phoenix is your number one.
I don't think it gets much better than Joaquin Phoenix when he acts.
What's he been in?
Sign. I know. I'm just Signs. He was in the Johnny Cash movie, Walk the Line.
He's good in that.
Yeah.
I didn't like Signs.
He was in the new Napoleon movie. He's done a lot of... I can't just name him off the top of my head, but every time I see him, I absolutely love him.
What's the one he's most famous for? Isn't he the Joker?
Joker, yes. Right? The one I almost got killed in, yeah.
Did you? That's right.
I almost died for Joaquin Phoenix. So
I never would put him on a list like that. I wouldn't give him honorable mention. I put, like, when I was writing these down, I wrote down for honorable mention, like, Robert Redford, because I love All the President's Men. I put down Denzel Washington, who you don't like.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman, I love.
Very underrated.
Yeah. Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
I mean, Hoosiers.
I don't know why. Right now, I'm going to look like the worst Joaquin Phoenix fan because he can't even name a movie.
Yeah, well, no.
My favorite Joaquin Phoenix movie is called You Were Never Really Here. Mm-hmm. He plays a hitman. It's on Amazon. I highly recommend it if you've never seen it. It is absolutely. It's a phenomenal movie.
You Were Never Really Here.
You know
a lot
really
of
here.
movies that I don't know. I don't know those things. My best actor of all time is Dustin Hoffman. I absolutely love him. I love Tootsie.
Okay.
I love All the President's Men. I love Rain Man. I love numerous movies with him in it. I think he's a great actor.
I like Dustin Hoffman.
Now, it's old school, but I think he's fantastic. I don't think it gets any better. Redford and Hoffman together in All the President's Men is fantastic. And then I think Tootsie's his best. Kramer versus Kramer. You ever see that?
I never saw Tootsie either.
Okay. Why don't you watch Tootsie?
Okay.
And I'll watch that one. What'd you just say?
You Were Never Really Here?
All right, for next week.
Yes.
And it's on Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon Prime, yes.
But you'll have to go get Tootsie.
I will find Tootsie and watch it.
Now, it's dated now because he becomes a soap opera star.
Correct, yeah.
But it's fantastic.
Is Bill Murray in it?
Yes.
Okay.
I
know a little bit about Tootsie, but yeah.
Dabney Coleman's in it. He's great.
Oh, God, yeah.
Jessica Lange is in it.
Okay.
She's great.
Yeah.
First time I ever saw Gina Davis. She's in it. I think it's her first movie.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. It's probably my favorite movie of the 80s is Tootsie.
Really?
Yes, and it's really remarkable, I think. I love it. Now, it's comedy. It's dramedy, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just love it. And I'll watch You Were Never
Really
Here.
Watch it by yourself.
Okay.
It's a little out there. I don't think it's family friendly.
Probably not. Okay.
Tootsie, I will. I don't even know if it's streaming on anything, but I will try to find Tootsie.
It may not be, but I think you'll. I've got an app here. I can tell you if it's streaming. Do you know? Have you ever used the Just Watch app?
I do.
I'll recommend that.
Yes.
You do that? Yeah.
Under your recommendation,
Yes.
I use it all the time.
It is a good thing because all you do is called Just Watch, and you can go and just type in what you want, search, and see where you can rent it or stream. It's streaming now on Paramount Plus.
Oh, perfect. Got it. Love
you got it?
I
Okay.
will watch Tootsie.
Or, of course, you can buy it or rent it for $3.99 anywhere. But it says it's streaming on Paramount Plus.
How long is it?
Oh, I'd say 2 hours. I mean, normal movie length, 152.
Okay, perfect.
Like that.
That's awesome. I love it.
Are you a little too much for
No,
you?
I'm just messing with you.
How long is You Were Never Really
It's like
Here?
an hour and 28 minutes.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's very light. I mean, well, it's not light, but it's it's good though.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Let me say, I probably could tell you how long Tootsie is if I've read a little more, but it's very, very good. A lot of the scenes between, a lot of the lines from Bill Murray were ad-libbed. I just read
really?
read
Okay.
that, yeah.
All right. I like that.
It's good. I think you'll like it. Okay. That's good. Wow. Well, that's all it is. Sports and movies.
Yeah, sports and movies today. Yeah.
What else is there in life?
There was an alien spotting in Miami last week.
I don't buy that.
Okay,
2
fair
seconds,
enough.
And I don't believe in them.
Fair enough.
More people believe in them than don't. I don't. You believe in them?
Yes.
I don't buy
Of course.
them. I don't buy it.
Yes.
I feel like if there were aliens or whatever, we would have locked it down by now. It's 2024.
They're smarter than we were. They're evading us.
You know what?
They don't need us. They just happen to stumble upon Earth every now and again.
Well, maybe we don't need them. But go on about your business.
That's true.
Not be friendly.
Exactly. I mean, I think there are. I just don't think it's a big deal. Like it's cool, but it's not to us. We're not a big deal.
I don't believe
we're
that.
insignificant to the aliens.
I don't buy it. Alien. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe any of that.
You don't believe? You refuse to believe.
I just don't. I need to see a little more evidence than I've seen. I do. But I do believe in Jesus. Okay. That's right. That's it. We'll be back next week. The square and the round.